Today I'm dishing about my welcome to New York.
Welcome to Vacation Mavens, the podcast that brings you travel inspiration and practical tips from two moms who know how to plan the perfect trip.
I'm Tamara from Your Time to Fly.
And I'm Kim from Stuffed Suitcase. With over 40 years of travel experience between us, we're here to share our favorite destinations from road trips to cruising, theme parks, and European adventures.
Whether you're planning a family vacation or a mom getaway, we have the tips and tricks to make memories that will last a lifetime. So, Kim, I know you made like a dream come true for your little Swiftie. And actually, you made a lot of dreams come true for your Swiftie this year.
It was a big year.
Yeah, but you guys went to New York to see the holiday festivities. And I know she's like such a great traveler for you. But then she also designed a little day of exploring all the Taylor Swift stuff in New York, which I loved.
Yes.
So I wanted to share about both. Obviously, the people listening to this for the Christmas ideas, you're going to have to hold on to those for a while. But hey, it's always fun to think about. And New York's always a top destination. And
I love the city.
Yeah.
Like you got to see my first introduction to it, and it's one of my favorite cities. So going back during one of its most famous
the fact
things.
that it smells like pot and there's garbage.
I'm in Seattle.
And, exactly. I'm like, there's still just something about New York. People can complain about it all they want now, but it is special.
It is a special city. I love it. It's the neighborhoods, all the things you can do, all the people who are visiting, like the walks of life, and just, yeah, I love it. There's so much that happens.
There's just
there.
like an energy. So tell us, so you were going there, you wanted to experience the holidays in New
Absolutely.
York. So you wanted to hit some highlights. So where did you stay?
So we actually booked, because I knew that we were going at Christmas time. Normally, you and I have stayed at a few areas, and I know there's some good places that you can stay. Because of Christmas time, I chose to stay nearer to Bryant Park and Fifth Ave because we decided we wanted to skate at Bryant Park, and I was thinking, oh, we might get wet or cold after ice skating. Easy to go change at the hotel and then do other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So my primary goal was to find something that was near Fifth Ave and Bryant Park-ish area, because that would put us in easy walking distance to Rockefeller, but avoid some of the Times Square chaos.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Anytime you can avoid Times Square chaos is good. But then you have a Rockefeller Plaza chaos, and you probably...
Oh my goodness. Insanity.
I mean, I will say, like, when Glenn and I lived in New York, we lived at 62nd and Madison, and one time my brother came in with his son, who is, I don't know, like a toddler or preschooler, and they wanted to go see the tree, and we're like, oh no. So we were walking down Fifth Avenue, and it was like his body was just like lifted with the crowd, and I had to protect him.
Yeah.
It's crazy, right?
Yes. So I purposely booked us. We flew in Sunday night and flew out Wednesday.
Smart.
I knew I wanted to be on weekdays. I did not want to do the weekends. So that was part of my planning. And I would say, I can't even imagine what a Friday night and Saturday night around there would be like. I can't even imagine. And even as we were leaving, like we went back to see Rockefeller in the daytime because we had seen it at night. And the crowds were not as bad as they were at night, but still crazy bad. And we were just past it at that point. And I think the closer it gets to Christmas, the busier and crowded it gets. So definitely earlier December and weekdays would be my tips.
Because also that week between Christmas and New Year's is still crazy. Many times we would go to New Jersey to visit my family for Christmas, and then we would stop and spend a couple days in New York, especially when Glenn's parents had an apartment there for a while that they didn't really live in full time. So it was great.
Wow,
so
that's nice.
After that went away, we stopped going very often. But I have this picture of Hannah by the tree, and her face is just like, she's so miserable. Like she could not have been more unhappy because she does not like crowds.
We don't like crowds, but we were prepared. We went in knowing that it was going to happen. And also we're fast. We're like you. We're fast walkers. I've trained Mia now. She knows how to read the street lights and traffic. So we're like wanting to go. But when you're like 10 people back, you can't move at that speed. You're like having to live like a local. So it was frustrating in some parts. Like you'd think, oh, it's just a 20-minute walk. But when you add the crowds in, it's going to take you 30 minutes because it was crazy. So that is something to keep in mind. But where we stationed, so we were off 39th between 5th and 6th at the Grayson Hotel, which is a Hyatt property. I didn't love the experience. The rooms were exceptionally small. There are upgraded rooms there. We didn't get upgraded to an Empire State view. So there are view rooms, and they have a very famous, popular rooftop bar that I think has won some awards. And we went up there and saw that, but it was extremely loud and crowded. And it's 21 and older only after 7 p.m. So We never really experienced it, but we were able to go up there and get a peek before the 7 p.m. cutoff. But yeah, the location I would say was good.
Yeah,
I
I
thought we
love
did
Bryant
well.
Park. Like that area at Christmas with the little Christmas market and the ice
Yeah.
skating and their tree. I think it's fabulous.
Yeah. We booked our Bryant Park, so I'll just start going into
Mhm.
some of it. We booked Bryant Park ice skating, which we'd looked at Rockefeller, which everyone thinks of, and it's, I don't know, $80 to $100 per person,
crazy.
depending on the time of day. But Bryant Park was 30 something for if you had rentals, and we were able to book that, I think, a month or so in advance. We booked myself. And then Mia has her own ice skates, and she was willing to, I get free check bags. So she's like,
Yeah.
just check my ice skates. So we checked my suitcase with, or we checked a suitcase with her ice skates, and it's free if you have your own ice skates at Bryant Park. But you have to book it about a week in advance. So you have to just be ready for when it opens, because they only open a week in
Good
advance
to know.
slots.
And you can also ice skate up in the park, which I feel like that might also be free if you have your own skates, but I'm not sure.
In Central Park?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure it's probably a similar thing. I don't think Rockefeller has the same setup with bring your own ice skates and go for free, but I think the parks have that situation just as a public service, maybe. I'm not sure. So it's really an affordable way to do ice skating. The day we booked early in the morning. We booked like an 11:10, I think was our time, and which we were coming from the West Coast. So I was trying to give a cushion. I didn't want to do like a 9 a.m.
Right.
skate.
How long does it give you?
You get 50 minutes on the ice, but an extra 20 minutes to show up and get your skates. We actually showed up and were on the ice early because they had just cleaned the ice or they just did a switch. So there's 4 groups at a time. And somehow we got lucky because we were group 4. So they started letting group 1 on. And then because we got our ice skates and we were there early, we got right on the ice. They let us check in advance, and then we actually got some extra time on the ice because then they started pulling. They were like, Group 1, your time is up. Group 2, your time is up. And so we ended up at the end because they weren't bringing a new group on because they were going to clean the ice again after that group of 4. So I don't know how you can arrange that, but we really liked it because at the end, there was like 4 people on the ice.
Nice. Yeah,
and it was not crowded at all.
Yeah.
But I will say it was raining a little bit, like sprinkly rainy. So us being from Seattle, it was not a big deal. But there was a big pool of water, like a little puddle in the middle of the ice, which, you know, as we got a little more confident, we were able to go a little closer in the middle and avoid the edging, but where a lot of people stuck. Yeah. So I think that helped with the crowds. When we went back just to look at the market a day later and it was sunny and nice out, it was just packed full on the ice. And so I'm guessing there was probably also walk-ups that showed up and they allowed on the ice. Whereas us booking in advance on a rainy day, nobody was going like, hey, let's go ice skating today.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
fun.
Big plus. So that was one of our big goals. And then, of course, like we said, going to Rockefeller Center was a big goal. We did that at night and we also did it at the daytime. Crowds are just insane. The best thing you can do if you really want to get pictures is just, we entered from Fifth Ave, that main,
the
it's
Angels.
just down. Yeah, there's the Angels there and you just swim upstream, make your way up there and wait your turn. People are pretty generous where it's, okay, they're taking a selfie. We're going to wait for them to finish. And then it's, okay, we're going to sneak in.
Yeah.
And now we're going to take our selfie.
Yeah.
And so it was nice. We had booked. So I did work with City Pass. They provided us 2 City Passes. And so on that night we arrived, when we went to go see Rockefeller Center, we also booked Top of the Rock.
Oh, nice.
And I will say City Pass is really great. Like I don't know if you've used it recently. They've gone fully digital now. You don't have the paper booklets anymore. And the app is so convenient for New York City because I was able to just make a reservation for Top of the Rock, make a reservation for the 9/11 Museum, make a reservation for the Empire State in the app and book our times. And so I thought that was really convenient. I didn't have to go to each website separately and make the reservations. So huge benefit for that.
Way if you are visiting, especially like for the first time, because some of those main sites like the Empire State Building, Top of the Rock, and some of the museums, to save some money if you're really going to pack stuff in.
Yeah, we liked it. So it didn't come with, when you and I did it with Empire State, it used to come with Skip the Line. It no longer comes with that. So you do have so you don't have that access any longer. But yeah, it was nice. Top of the Rock is always great. So we did Top of the Rock at night and then we did Empire State during the day to try and get a different vibe. So I recommend that if you do something like that. Seeing the city at night at Christmas time, not really anything you can notice. But at Top of the Rock, they do have like seasonal, like a pop-up bar that's Christmassy themed and stuff like that upstairs in one of the levels. That's something to consider. Top of the Rock also has a lot of upgrades. So you can now sit on there's like a rising beam.
Oh,
So you
yeah,
can
yeah.
sit on it. So it'll lift you up
It's
and
like
then
being in
turn
that
you out. So you feel like
old,
you're,
there's a photo of the workers when they were
yep,
building. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And so you can pay extra for that. I think it works out to something like $30 per person. We didn't do that. And then there's another one that's just like a little round, like viewing deck that'll raise up
Okay.
and get you even higher if you want to go even higher.
I
And
think
that's something like 35 per
they
person.
have to, because there's so many new observation decks and things, because they have the
Yeah.
edge, which is like
Edge.
glass,
Yep.
and doesn't one of, is it that one that tilts out or something? But then there's also the One
Yeah,
World
the summit.
Observatory, the summit,
Yeah.
which is
Yep.
a fun, like interactive, cool experience. So there's a lot of competition for like
Yeah.
observation decks now. So you have to like
Yeah.
up the ante of what,
Yeah. Yeah. But that was fun to do that night just because we were in that region where the decorations were and that area is
Yeah.
cool. There was a lot of people lined up for the Rockettes. So that's something we
Sure.
didn't do, but that's a very popular holiday activity. And
You just like walk around and look at the storefronts and all of that.
Yeah, that's what we did. Then
Yeah.
another day when we went to the Empire State, we went down to Macy's and looked at the Macy's windows. And then we also went right there. There's the Herald Square Christmas market. That's something that's popular at Christmas time in New York are the Christmas markets. So we did the one up by at Columbus Circle that's up by Central Park.
Yep.
Bryant Park, of course, and then the Herald Square one, which there actually was a fire at the Herald Square one, and there was a fire this morning at the Bryant
wow.
Park one
Oh,
when
wow.
we're recording this. So, but I don't know what that's going to entail for future,
Yeah.
if they're going to make adjustments or not. But those little Christmas markets are really popular. There's a place, it's where you can get a lot of food. There's a lot of local craftsmen. We couldn't quite tell. It seems like it's local craftsmen, but it's not always like necessarily a local farmer's market. Sometimes just people manning a booth selling local goods. But
Yeah.
then we asked at one jewelry place and she's like, oh yeah, the owner, she sourced these. And I'm like, okay,
Oh, interesting.
thanks.
So it's not necessarily the maker themselves. Yeah.
So it's just be mindful of
Sure.
like when you're shopping there. But they're cute little vibes. I think we liked the Columbus Circle one. Bryant Park was insanity busy, but probably one of the busiest ones. We went to go into the largest Barnes & Noble, which is down by the Union Square one. And we were so exhausted at that point because we thought, oh, we'll stop back by and go into the Union Square one. But then we were too tired and we didn't do that. But
I know Hannah has a little thing in her room that we bought at that Union Square market many years ago.
Yeah. So I would say that's the other thing that a lot of people are doing in the holidays is those little Christmas markets. And then, our credit card gets us that $50 Saks Fifth. And I learned one of the tips is to go buy gift cards at the Saks Fifth. So I'm going to do that in January as well, because then the free shipping is for $100. So that way you have a gift card to help offset the $100 shipping, if that makes sense. But so Saks Fifth had a beautiful front decorated. And that's right across from Rockefeller as well.
Yeah, I feel like all up Fifth Avenue, the stores do such a nice job. And then Sixth Avenue, in front of a lot of the big office buildings, they have the giant Christmas ornaments and some of those other big things.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. When we walked up along 6th and there was all those ornaments and that sort of thing, and then came back over and then back down 5th. And then, I think that's mainly it. As you walk along, there's the public library that has the lions with the wreaths on their necks. And then, of course, just so many in stores and in hotels that are decorated so beautifully. We didn't do that aspect of it. I recently saw a reel on Instagram that it's like, oh, I want to go back now and look at some more of this. And I think Christmas pubs are a thing. Like in Dublin, I heard about Christmas pubs, but I think that's a thing in New York too, is finding
it's
like
becoming
little
there.
bars.
It's really funny.
Yeah.
I was talking to somebody from Cleveland who was like, are Christmas bars a thing in Providence? I'm like, no, not at all. But like more and more I see doing it, especially in the Midwest. But New York has always had like one or two popular ones, but I think it's definitely expanding.
Yeah.
Did you guys see the new Louis Vuitton?
We didn't. We wanted to. We've seen it. We thought about it, but we were so busy. And then we did this other, which we'll get to in a second. We did this other side day tour so we ended up spending our time going to see Taylor Swift stuff instead of some of the other decoration stuff because we felt like we wanted to avoid the crowds a bit. Yeah.
Yeah. So that kind of wraps up what you did on the Christmas side then?
I think so. Yeah. Okay. I don't think there was much else. The big thing we wanted to do that we heard about, which I'll just mention to people, is I think it's Hoboken. Is that right? And there's a famous neighborhood there. It starts with a D, I think. Dryer Heights, right?
I thought that Diker Heights. I thought that was in That was in Queens? I'm not sure.
Okay.
Now I need to look it up.
I'm not sure now. I thought it was
Hoboken.
Yeah. Hoboken.
Brooklyn.
Okay. Okay, so is that near Hoboken?
Hoboken's in New Jersey.
When I was looking at how to get there, I was like, oh, it's like way over there.
Hoboken's like right across the river, the West River in New Jersey.
And Diker Heights is on the other side then?
Brooklyn's like south of Manhattan.
Yeah. Then I don't know why we didn't go there. Maybe I was looking at a different place.
I don't know.
I don't even know. But we had considered going there because it's a famous area that people like to go to walk around because the houses, the people put up unbelievable Christmas decorations and you just walk down the streets and supposedly it's quite a visual spectacular. But we didn't get around to doing that. But that was one thing we considered. So
Tell me about this Taylor Swift. I thought such a clever thing to come up with all these different places. It's random in some ways, but tell us what you did.
Yeah, so it all started because we saw this reel that was like, oh yeah, did you know that Taylor Swift filmed like part of her music video All Too Well at this Housing Works store? And I told Mia about it and I was like, oh, and she said, I want to go so bad. And so I was like, okay, let's do it. And so we knew that we were going to do that. And then from there, it became a thing where she said, there's also this and there's also this. And so we ended up, the big thing she wanted to go to was her house on Cornelia Street, which there's a song about Cornelia Street. And so we took the subway where we needed to take the subway. I'm telling you guys, taking trips to New York with your kids is one of the best things you could do to get them used to like public transit and navigation. Yeah. She was great. She was figuring out subways, time systems. We figured out how lines work because she's like, oh wait, we need to go on the N train because she'd use Google Maps, but she didn't realize like
look for the
it's
N
on the
point
same
or the South End.
Well, and it's also we figured out that which lane, where do you need to go in and out? Are we going uptown? Are we going downtown? So we talked through all that, but then she had to learn that the inline and the L, they're all going the same way. So we could have gotten on that L train. We just missed the N train because we got the directions to it. Like little things like that. Just
but they don't always give you all the same stops.
Exactly.
So you have to really know what your options.
Yeah. So it was a lot of fun. So she became this little expert. So she planned this whole little thing where we went to Cornelia Street to see the house. We ended up stopping at this bus stop cafe that's not too far from her house to get a hot chocolate. I forgot to take a photo there because at the time I wasn't really thinking about this being like a story that I ended up making. But that was in a song she talks about. I think I saw you at the bus stop, and Mia says it's people think why would Taylor Swift be hanging at the bus stop? But it's the bus stop cafe. And then, of course, we walked on the High Line, which she did. And so there's all these little things. I made an Instagram post. So if you have a Swiftie fan and you're going to go to New York City, I have a post all the things that we did because it's quite easy to do. One of the highlights that we weren't really expecting was the Chelsea Hotel, which she mentions in, I would have to look at my reference. I had to ask Mia. One of the songs it's a historical hotel. It's not in the greatest area you would know. It's in Chelsea, but it was, this is a weird area where we were walking. And then all of a sudden we ended up like at the Flatiron and we were like, oh, okay, so I know where I'm at now. But it's this historic hotel where all these famous writers and authors and stuff lived and a lot of cool stuff happened there. Yeah. And so we went inside and Mia, we immediately walk inside and Mia's like, oh, this place feels haunted. It's totally haunted. And then she found a story and it was totally haunted. But the building is just inside. And then I told her, I said, okay, this is where the really rich people hang out. Because it's like all the trust fund kids that are just like hanging out in the bar, like talking, like drinking their little coffees. Yeah. It felt like that. So it was just funny. But the beauty of it, like all these little bars, they have 3 little bars and dining areas, and they're this beautiful old architecture hotel. And then you open, like the elevator opened, and it's the old push button elevator setup still. So anyways, that was one of the other features just from the song. So that was what she came up with. And so we spent a day doing that. And then, as we said, we went to this place. It's kind of I feel like it's like the book district because we went to the largest Barnes & Noble, which is near Union Square. And we also went to the Strand, which is a famous giant bookstore, multi-level bookstore that was exceptionally hot. We couldn't even stay in there. Like you at Tamara, Mia and I were dying. So imagine what you would have been feeling like. Yeah. It was exceptionally hot. But then we went to this Housing Works cafe. And
I've donated books there before.
Yeah. It's a local, it is so did you know she filmed a music video there?
I didn't know that.
And they have a little thing for her, and Mia just happened to be walking around the CDs, and there was a red CD sealed. And all their CDs are $1. And she's like, there's no way. And so her and I have this theory that like either the workers like set them there like to make the Taylor Swiftie fans that find their way there. Because you have to know you're looking for it, right? Like you have to make your way there.
Yeah.
But or Taylor Swift has set up where she's just provides a set of these CDs for the Swiftie fans who come in to see her thing. But we haven't decided because how do they have a brand new copy of a Red CD for $1 there? It just seems because that's the song is on the Red album is the song that it's from. So that was a real little treat. So,
it's funny. I just put together a stack of books that I need to donate. And I'm like, I wish there was a place like the Housing Cafe. So yeah, I remember bringing like boxes down there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's fun. Yeah.
Well, what a nice getaway. Did you have any yummy food?
Yeah. We had Shake Shack.
Always like Shake Shack.
Always a good thing.
They now have Shake Shacks on the New Jersey Turnpike rest areas. I'm like, wow, that's everywhere now.
We have a Shake Shack out here recently. And I was like, I'm trying to remember it. I'm blanking now. I don't even remember where we ate. We ate at our hotel once. Yeah, nothing exceptional. That was not. If I went with Lizzie, that would have been the focus. Would have been nice restaurants and dining experiences. But for Mia, it's just about safe food. We did do a bagel stop.
Yeah.
So we did do a bagel stop, which was nice.
Must do a bagel stop.
Yep. Yeah. But yeah, otherwise, I'm trying to remember. Oh, yeah, we did eat at a pizza place near Central Park that we went to 2 or 3 years ago when we were there. And she's like, I want to go back there again after we went to the Natural History Museum, which also we used our city pass for. And so Central Park, walking through there was fun. And that's where we went to Columbus Circle Christmas market as well. But
I guess it was before it snowed, right? Because it just snowed.
Yes, it just snowed, which I was bummed. Like I was happy. But secretly, Mia really wanted a New York City white Christmas. And so we left on Wednesday and it snowed on Friday. So it was like, shoot.
The park is when it snows. But
yeah. So it was just very rainy. We did have one beautiful great sunny day though. So
good. Yeah. Hey, you'll be back in New York in a month and you and I will be hanging out there again.
Be fun. I love it. It's such a good city. Highly recommend it with a teen. It's great with teens, I think. Yeah. It's a good walkable, learn navigation. Yeah.
I know in the Travel with Teens Facebook group that I help moderate, it is always one of the most frequently asked things is, what should I do in New York with my teen? And I'm always like, search previous answers. But there's so many great options. No matter what time of year. Thanks for sharing. It sounds fun.
Yeah.
And as we talked about recently with my Nova Scotia thing, like we just enjoy some holiday festive travel.
Yeah. I think it was a good one to get off the bucket list. And I would be willing to do it again, even with the crowds.
Nice. That's saying something.
Yeah.
It was funny because when we went to New York this summer, Hannah just brought it up again recently. She was like, I'm really glad that we did that this summer. And it let me have a fresh view of New York because all she was remembering were those times that we
traumatized.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or we would go in and go for a show. So we stayed more in Times Square. And
Yep.
She hates crowds so much. So it was those. She would enjoy the show. She would enjoy the dinners, but not the other stuff. But this summer we had a really nice experience there. So despite it being like 100 degrees.
Yeah. And I forgot to mention, we did go down to the financial district at night. We were aiming to get there to see if we could see the Statue of Liberty from Battery Park. But it was really cloudy and socked in. That was a rainy day. But NASDAQ does have, if you can make it to NASDAQ, they have a pretty tree and decorations as well. So it was a fun thing. But yeah, but we will wrap out.
Yeah, stay tuned. We're going to have a lot of tips episodes, some more destinations coming up. So stay tuned.
We will talk to you again soon.
Bye.
Bye, you guys.